What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for another week of building Utapau. And boy, do I have some great stuff to show you guys this week. So I have decided to really just buckle down and get some buildings done. I know I've talked about this for weeks now and kind of shared some struggles, some hesitancies towards working on the buildings, but I got to get it done because I'm running out of other things to do and I need to start building up again because with Utapau, it's all about height, right? It's not the biggest, widest mock, but it is going to be super tall. So in order to start building up again, I need to know what the buildings are going to look like so I can proceed to build the rock walls behind those buildings. So we're going to tackle the far side over where the small platform is and hopefully get a lot of that installed this week, as well as maybe doing a little bit of work on the two large pillars in the front. I did get a large influx of pieces coming in for both of those areas, so I should be set for a little while on parts. All that being said, let's go get building. Okay, it's time to get started on another week of building Utapau. Sorry about that noise in the background. My neighbors are getting their trees trimmed, so there's a wood chipper just grinding away. So I have a lot of parts in right now, so I've got a few different options for what I can start on first. I could go back here and start on those buildings, or I could finish out this archway, or I could put in a little catwalk that I'm working on right here, and I can also finish out this. Since the last update, I also did some work on this side. I've got this pillar built up, and I am starting to do this pipe design that Will Harper suggested, and I think it looks really cool. I just need to duplicate it over there on that side. I'm not sure what I'm going to do up right here. I'm going to need to finish this arch first to see what up here looks like, and then I'll either connect the pipes back into the arch or maybe run them over the top and connect them. We'll see. I'm still not 100% sure on that. This is the catwalk right here that's going to be spanning these two pillars, and it may look like a simple little catwalk at first glance, but let me tell you guys, it is a fairly complicated build. I'll go into more depth as to how it comes together in a little bit, but as you can see, it's got two pieces that kind of slide and lock into place with these 1x2s. What I think I'm actually going to start with though this week is some major terrain restructuring here in the back. So since I've been laying down this tile and plate, there's been one thing that's been bothering me about the terrain, and that's how flat it is. From what I've seen, Utapau is fairly flat, but I would still like a little bit more change in the terrain than this. So I think what I'm going to be doing is taking up these buildings right here, and I'm going to create kind of like a little sidewalk. So what I'm going to do is create a second layer of plate up above this first layer, and then I'm going to use like slope and wedge plates to kind of create like a sidewalk running along the sides, and the buildings will be built on top of that. I feel like this will help raise up the ground a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting. Probably going to do the same thing over here on this side. What I can't decide though is if I should just have it be two strips that run along either side of this large road area, or have it come across the entire back part and kind of run along that way in that direction, connect here. So this whole back area would be two plates high instead of just one plate high like this front part. That's going to be a pretty lengthy build and pretty challenging as well. So I think I'm actually going to do a time lapse of it because I think it would be fun to kind of show you guys it coming together and help you guys better understand what I'm talking about. So I think I'm going to jump on that just because that's probably the most pressing thing that needs to happen, because I need to be able to have that down and built before I can start working on the buildings. So with that being said, let's jump into the time lapse. time lapse is done, and I think I've got enough of this plate and tile put down to kind of show you guys what I was talking about earlier. So I'm going to create a second level of plate and tile right here, using a bunch of wedge plates to kind of just create this sloping ridge that's kind of angle off back that way. And then on top of that, back where this green plate is, I'm going to be building the buildings and stuff. I'm going to have it look something like this, where these windows right here, or this kind of wall, is going to run along this way, and then we're going to have this rounded tower, then it's going to go back in that direction, and then this upper level right here is going to either continue off in that direction or taper off this way like that. And I'm still not 100% sure what to do right here. I just told you guys those two options because one, I kind of think it would be cool is if this second layer of plate just kind of ran along this direction, ran up over here this way like this. So that way this entire back part was kind of raised up a little bit from the front part. But I also think it might be kind of cool just to have it be like some kind of like natural sidewalk. So this part would run along right here and then taper off back this way. And then you'd have like this lower area right here. Then over here on this side, we'd have more plate and tile right here. And then we'd have like another little kind of natural sidewalk running along on this direction. This side is going to be more tough because of this giant platform. It juts so far out into this area. I don't want to have buildings right here like, 3 studs away from the platform, just because I think that would be impractical. I don't think that's what would actually happen. So there needs to be a decent amount of space right here. So that could also affect where this level of plate goes on this section. That's actually one reason why I started over here, is because I figured it would be easier to test out this part. And then once I get a better idea of like where it's going to go and how it's going to connect, then I can come over here and figure out this little problem area. Jumping back to this area, I think what I'm going to do now is start building this front wall that's going to be right here. And I decided on a window design. I'm going to go with this far right design, the diamond, because I think it matches the aesthetic of these better than this more rounder one. I think I'm going to put the round one over there on that side. So I'm going to create a wall right here, put a bunch of those windows in, maybe put a door, we'll see, but I'll check back in when I have more to update you guys with. Well, I'm in the thick of things now. You can see Utapau is very messy and very cluttered, but that's good. That means things are being built, things are getting created. So this is what I'm working on right now, and this is kind of the front wall of this temple. And these are the windows that I decided to go with. I think they look pretty nice. And then up above those windows, I'm going to have this walkway where I'm going to have droids firing down on oncoming troops right here. And I've got these little kind of like claws or spikes, whatever you want to call them, just to give this like an alien vibe and to kind of spice up the upper area of this temple right here. Because I figured if I'm going to make this a fancy structure, I might as well do something. And I put these larger spikes in right here to act as kind of like a small canopy to partially cover this top area to give it just a little bit of a roof-like feel, I guess. Then down here I've got these walls with the window. So at first I had the walls just going straight down to the ground, and I didn't really like how that looked, so I added these slopes right here, and it made a big difference. I think it makes the wall look a lot better. I've also got some masonry bricks sprinkled throughout. One thing I am not 100% on is the gap or space between these windows. Right now I have 3 studs, a 3-stud space in between each window, and I'm thinking about adding one more to do 4. I just feel like the windows might be a little close together because I don't want there to be too many windows on this front wall. So let me know down in the comments if you think these windows look too close and if I should space them out a little bit. Then right here we've got a little jog in the wall that goes back 1 stud, and I did this because I wanted this tower to kind of sit back on this upper level of plate, and if I had kept it in line with this front wall, it would end up like this, hanging over this part right here, and I didn't like how that looked. So put that little jog in there, and that solved that problem, and I still think it'll look okay with that jog. I'm about to live stream, and on that live stream I'm going to work on this whole wall probably the entire time. After that I'll check back in and show you guys what I got done. Time for a final update for the week. I just finished my live stream, and it was a frustrating live stream because my camera was lagging the whole time, which always stresses me out and makes it hard to focus. That being said, I think I got the most progress I've ever gotten done on a stream for Utapau today. So that was good. As you guys can see, I got both the front, side, and back wall done. Starting over here, we've got one smooth wall of windows. I was going to put a door in this side, but I think I already explained earlier why I decided to keep the door out, just because I didn't want a door leading right out into this busy spaceport. I decided to kind of tuck it back that way a little bit. I was also able to get more of this railing done. These are mostly just kind of ornamental, but I did want these larger ones to kind of act like a small canopy to kind of enclose this walkway at least a little bit. There is a small jog right here, and I'm going to be ordering in some more of these, I don't even know what you'd call these, kind of corner pieces right here. They're going to run all the way down there to the bottom to kind of give this corner a little bit more of a seamless transition. Right now it's kind of jagged. I'm not really happy with that. I do also have some little detailing right here on this upper wall. I've got like some parts that are crumbling and kind of been eaten away. I think this is cool because it adds a little bit more texture and just kind of makes this thing feel a little bit older. I think I might throw some more in down there. I'm not going to go too deep into how the windows were constructed just because I showed you guys already, but basically it's these trans blue cylinders back behind just dark tan slopes and inverted slopes. Coming over here to this side, I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. So this is going to be the door or entryway into this like temple thing, whatever you want to call it. Then we're going to have the same kind of canopy walkway across here on this side. However, there is a difference between this side and the other side, and that is this row of dark tan tile that I ran across. And I like this a lot because I feel like it breaks up the lower wall right here and the upper wall. Over here on this side, I feel like this wall is just too flat. There's not enough texture, not enough going on. So I'm going to be running this all the way over there on that side, and I think that'll help solve that problem. I do also have a couple of torches or lanterns, whatever you want to call them, on either side of the door. These are going to be mostly ornamental, just because I feel like Utapau is probably more advanced than using actual lanterns. I will be replacing these cylinders with trans yellow ones, just because I think those will look cooler. As for the door right here, I think I'm just going to put these black bricks right here and use a similar technique to what I used with the caves down there on the rock wall. That way I don't have to worry about creating a door or any kind of interior to this. I can throw those black bricks down and just kind of give the illusion of an opening. I do have a opening over here on this side, so there's going to be openings on either side of these walkways. That way they kind of look like they're connected, so you can start at one end and walk all the way to the other end. That wraps up another week of building Utapau. I'm happy with the progress that was made, and I'm excited to have this whole building area in because now I can start working on the rock wall behind it and building the structure that's going to hold the upper rock wall area. I am waiting on some more parts for this side, so I think next week we're going to jump back over here. Initially this week I was planning to work on this area, but I figured it was time to just really buckle down and get at least one side figure out buildings wise. So I think while we're waiting for parts, I'll come over here and kind of put this catwalk in that I showed you guys, maybe install some more piping and finish off this platform area right here. All that being said, time to go hit the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this week of building Utapau. It is such a relief to finally have some buildings done and to have an idea of what the architecture is going to look like. Now I can merely copy what I've done on the other side, maybe change up the building structure a little bit, but have the general aesthetic remain the same. I will be jumping over to the arches, like I said at the end of the update, just because I have more parts coming in for the buildings. So I think once those come in, I'll focus on the buildings again, but I really do want to start to figure out what those arches are going to look like because they need to connect, and then I need to have the upper rockwork resting on top of them, and I can't just have them connect in an arch. I feel like that would be kind of boring, so I want to have some kind of like rock guard or some kind of ridge up there at the top. I also have that piping that I was showing you guys, and that either needs to end at the top or maybe connect together somehow. I really do appreciate your guys' support with this whole series, and I'm excited with how hyped and how happy everyone is with how the mock is turning out. If you like this video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comments section. Any questions, comments, concerns. And if you're new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future content. But until next time, happy building.